The entire state of North Carolina has an issue with rabies. It varies across the state which animals we see impacted the most. In western North Carolina, foxes, raccoons, as well as bats are a particular problem for us, and we see exposures to rabies in our pets and in humans every year.
Bats are the most known vector of rabies, and raccoons are second to that. Most of the human cases in the U.S., over 70% are known to bats. And oftentimes people don't realize that if a bat is in your dwelling, and if it's in your sleeping quarters, then that's a serious matter.
If you should find a bat in your home, then you need to go ahead and try to contain the bat to a particular room. You call the sheriff's office, and we will arrange to pick the bat up and have it tested for rabies. If your animal comes into contact with another animal, specifically a wild animal, then they need to contact us so that we can instruct them on the proper procedures to follow to safeguard their pet and their health and their families.
Rabies vaccinations are very important because it is a zoonotic disease, meaning that humans can contract it, and it is nearly always fatal. So any dog or cat over the age of 4 months in the state of North Carolina must be vaccinated.
Rabies is a preventable viral disease, but it is also incurable once someone is infected. So the intent of the work at the health department is to prevent as many rabies cases as we possibly can, but then to follow up when there are animal bites. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to either quarantine or euthanize pets who have not been vaccinated. And then we also work with humans who have been exposed to make sure they get the medication they need to prevent them from becoming infected.
Some people think that, it's like any other disease. I'll wait till symptoms develop and then I'll get treatment. You can't do that with rabies. Survival's rare. Once symptoms develop, it's already in the central nervous system, and it moves very rapidly at that point. There is no treatment for it. People succumb to coma usually, and death is pretty rapid after symptoms develop. If you are bit by an animal, whether it's wild or domestic, you need to wash that wound immediately. That's the most important thing you can do, is wash it with soap and water, running water, for 15 minutes. It helps to get rid of a lot of the virus, and could be germs that are there too. And then seek immediate attention. One is calling your local health department and getting some answers to questions. Is it a wild animal? Can animal control obtain it and hold it, or submit it for testing?
If your animal is involved in a fight with a wild animal or something that has an unknown rabies vaccination history, it should be boosted within 72 hours. And all rabies vaccines need to be administered by a veterinarian, so you do have to contact your vet's office, or the Asheville Humane Society can provide you with information on how to get a rabies vaccine.
If they keep their animals vaccinated and up to date, even if there's an exposure, all it takes is a booster for that animal to be okay. If they don't, then it's up to me to determine whether that animal has to be euthanized to prevent potential exposure, or whether we can quarantine it for 6 months. Quarantine for 6 months at a vet costs about $20 a day. So that's incredibly expensive for people in the community. So number one, they need to keep their pets vaccinated and make sure that those vaccinations are up to date. The second thing is they need to understand that if they're exposed to an animal and they do not know that animal, they need to do what they can to get information about where that animal is, or if it's dead, not to throw it away or bury it, so that we can test the animal. That will determine whether that individual needs to have prophylactic medication. Those medications can be painful, have side effects, and are expensive. So prevention is the key here, and we have the ability to do that.
There are many low-cost clinics in this area. The Asheville Humane Society does provide them once a month, and you can contact the Asheville Humane Society for the location and hours. And the Sheriff's Department also does provide them throughout the county.